Today was the first pickup. And Mill Creek resident Tim Brewitt couldn't be happier.
Fortunately, we filled it, so it was nice to have a curbside opportunity to recycle glass.
Many special things about a Ford.
And just cruising around the valley.
Henry Ford was so visionary. Just as he put the world on wheels with the Model T Ford, he had the same idea for aviation.
It's meant to look real.
Can you hear me? All right, I'm going to put some oxygen on you, okay?
From afar, terrorists set off a fake chemical bomb using a cell phone on a UTA Trax line stopped at Salt Lake City International Airport.
Grab it on. We're gonna have fun. This is a lot of fun. You gotta try this. It's kind of exciting. I'm going fast. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Thank you. Good luck. I hope you find her.
Libertad Salgado Figueroa, her brother Rosenberg Salgado, and two of her sons post flyers near City Creek Center. The family has weekly meetings with the Provo Police Department, but Rosenberg and his brother Rudenberth are not welcome.
But you can't miss seeing other signs of how dangerous this storm was all over Coble. There are things in trees that shouldn't be there, and homes that aren't livable anymore.
Roofs have been ripped off, trees have fell down over top of houses. People has a lot that they've lost.
Sheriff Randall Ward says it's fortunate no one was seriously hurt here.
Total panic, fear.
Especially when you hear the scare Brandy and Christopher Westbrooks went through.
My wife was trying to open the door to our 2-year-old, and I remember her trying to open it up, and she said it just won't open.
Somehow that 2-year-old survived alone in a room that lost its roof.
She's just sleeping away.
The entire family is okay, but their home and their community are another story.
My little girl, she made the comment, that we've lost all our memories. But I had to tell her that's not, memories are not here.
Organizers say this year was a smooth operation with performances reaching new heights.
It is really scary.
It just amazes me how they can climb up there.
And even new strengths. If you don't think a woman can bend a frying pan, think again.
Oh my God.
Somebody needs to go out there and show that you don't have to just be feminine, you can be strong at the same time.
And that's just what Mama Lou does. With a little inspirational music, she tore this phone book in half.
Hundreds take to Pikes Peak Sunday morning for what many cyclists call the ultimate test.
This is just very unrelenting and 6 hours of pain.
The second annual assault on the peak takes these gutsy cyclists nearly 25 miles up Pikes Peak. That's a vertical climb of nearly 8,000 feet.
First time I learned to fly in 1941 before the war in Brigham City. It broke the bonds of earth, and as the wheels came off the ground, it just seemed like it was ethereal. It was ethereal to me to be up there in the clouds, flying around the clouds. So it's a special feeling to fly. I always wanted to fly and learn way back then. I was on the end of the runway at Tempelhof, the American Air Base in West Berlin. Suddenly, on the other side of the barbed wire, right next to me, were 30 kids. The kids see American uniform, chasing, shaking out for chocolate. I said, look, the weather's good here in July, but when it comes to be fall and winter, you're going to have snow and ice, and you can't get in here every day. When that happens, don't worry about us. Kids, 9 to 15, been under Hitler. They knew what was freedom was what they wanted.
Claire.
I'm excited because we're going to make a candy drop again. With 1,000 or more parachutes, there's candy bars hanging on. And whenever I get in the airplane and see those chocolate bars ready to go out the window, I drop 5 years off my age. It's so fun. Because kids, even where they have chocolate bars, they like ideas coming out of the sky. Just as much as the Berlin kids. And the Berlin kids hadn't ate chocolate for 2 years. I've done it a number of times in Utah. And there's some kids that haven't seen it. And if they see it and believe those guidelines, the service for self-gratitude, attitude, and little decision, That's what I hope to inculcate into their thought process. And they have a parachute and a candy bar up.
Many special things about a Ford.
And just cruising around the valley.
Henry Ford was so visionary, just as he put the world on wheels with the Model T Ford, he had the same idea for aviation. And there were no established airlines when he got the idea to fund this and support the aviation industry. And he invested in that because he saw the potential future, and he actually made it happen. So we had a group of 10 kids, and they saw us flying over their RC field. How special to get kids already liking airplanes, and then they had their first ride in a tri-motor. I like to tell the younger ones, I say, who was the first man on the moon? Neil Armstrong. How does that tie in here? Neil Armstrong had his first airplane ride. He was 6 years old in a Ford tri-motor in Ohio. His dad bought him a ride. That was 1936. And so I like to explain to them that they share now part of history. The first time the first man on the moon ever left the Earth was in a Ford. And so here they got to do the same thing here so many decades later. So here it is flying today. It was also in a couple movies. So it's a movie star as well. Jerry Lewis movie in 1965 called Family Jewels, which is a pretty cut up comedy with Jerry Lewis as the captain. And then in the 90s, I forget the year, but it was in Public Enemies, which was a Johnny Depp movie. And so in particular, the ladies are often interested. That very last rearward seat was the Johnny Depp
seat. It's meant to look real.
Can you hear me? All right, I'm going to put some oxygen on you, okay?
From afar, terrorists set off a fake chemical bomb using a cell phone on a UTA TRAX line stopped at Salt Lake City International Airport.
If you don't get a chance to practice it, talk about it, exercise on it and that, you might panic when it comes up and you won't know what to do.
From the National Guard to first responders, each person had a role, from saving and diagnosing victims to catching the bad guys.
Law enforcement says that a lone wolf attack can happen at any time and any place. That's why it's vital that they practice on public transportation for scenarios of an attack, especially at our airport.
The airport welcomed the training and the opportunity to work together with other agencies.
We learn a lot. We refine our emergency response procedures after a drill such as this.
That refinement giving a sense of relief to the public.
Being a resident, I have a personal interest, of course, so yeah, it makes me feel much more safe and protected, and I appreciate that.
Protection our emergency responders are ready for, but hopefully that will never be used.
We need to get you away from this area.
In Salt Lake City, I'm Jason Wynn, good for Utah.
So we've got World War I planes, World War II, Korean War. We have jets, a lot of warplanes. Most of the things you see out here today are foam, and they come ready to go, ready to fly. You can still spend thousands of dollars, but you can also spend under $100 and be in the air. Well, we're all electric. For many, many years, we had nothing but retirees. Now we've got people that can put their airplane in their truck or car, go to work, come out here for lunch, go back to work, or fly in the afternoon, just put their airplane in the back seat.
Okay.
We have some that haven't flown yet. We've got 2 or 3 guys here that are fixing to learn how to fly, but it's a little windy today, so they're not up in the air. We've got other guys that flew when tubes were used. We do have something in the club called a coma, and that's does not stand. A lot of guys go home and they tell their wife, this is a Citizen of the Month award, but it's really the Crash of the Month award. It was hit and miss. Yeah. More hit than
That was a good landing.
The applause were mostly for good landings. We try not to rub in a bad landing. With the crash of the month, you get a great big frame. It's got an airplane sticking out, and the name of your plane and the date goes on the back on the sticker with the sticker. The worst crash of that month gets a special hat and it says COMA, C-O-M-A. And it's when you kind of have brain flatulence, you know, and you have a coma. Another coma, they're called a chicken of the month. If you're not flying regularly, then you're too chicken to fly. So you get a chicken award.
Man said, boys, call home. That's gonna be a long one. I don't wanna say it, but I will.
Well, as you travel across the United States, you meet different people and how they treat veterans.
Some of you may not see home again.
You got to see how we treat our veterans down in Nashville. And I was honored.
It's the very first time I saw one of my best friends I served with in the Marine Corps, his name on there. He was killed in Afghanistan in '09, and it really touched me. And I was like, you know, we'd love to bring that to Nashville because there's so many other people out there like myself that has friends and family that's on this wall.
Army Sergeant David A. Stevens. Army Sergeant Alexander Van Alton.
I couldn't ask for a better way to be in Nashville and honor the veterans that they have here and let them know that they're not forgotten, because I know that we have fallen from Tennessee here. And, you know, in each place we want them to know that they are not forgotten. And that's why I carry the wall across the United States.
Ron Payne right here. And that's the same tattoo. There's only 11 of these tattoos.
Army Staff Sergeant Brock A. Beery. Marine Corporal David A. Bass.
To reach out and touch that name, a name that you've not seen written down in a long time, and it's an opportunity to tell that story. It's very, very emotional.
It was probably a hell of a time in heaven that day. They all showed up together.
I tell you, they did.
You know, think all them Marines walking in together, I didn't know what was going on.
That's exactly right.
As we can see, the price of freedom is not free. It's paid in the blood and the sacrifice of our fellow countrymen.
I would really just want that our families and our veterans are not forgotten.
I said, those are my brothers, and I know they may not be here physically. They may not be here physically, but their names being here feels like they've come to visit me at home.
They came from little towns in Pennsylvania. They were men and women. They were the best that we have to offer.
You've been a hero. Oh.